All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm sure a few more people are going to trickle in over the next couple minutes, but let's go ahead and start. My name is Adrian. I'm with the San Jose Public Library. I'm here with Megan, who is also a librarian here, and then Julia from Study Smart Tutors. And this is a conversation as part of Silicon Valley Education Foundation's College Week regarding 2021 college admissions. So if you are a junior or senior in high school, this is probably a good place for y'all to be. You can get some good information, especially since UC applications are going to be due in a little over a month anyways. So with that said, before we get started, there is a quick poll that we would like to do. So I will just pop it up here. It's one question. It just sort of asks you what your role. Are you a parent? Are you a student? Are you a teacher? That sort of thing. So we'll pop that up and give y'all a few seconds to answer that. And this is just for our internal reference. And so just so we know who our audience is. Give it about 15 more seconds. Great, thank you very much. So like I said, my name's Adrian. I'm with the San Jose Public Library. And then Julia with Study Smart Tutors is going to take over, and she's going to do the bulk of the presentation. And then at the end, Megan's going to give you an overview of some of the resources we have here at the library that may help you get ready for college and what we have geared for teens here. Great. So Julia, it's all yours.
Thank you, Adrian. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I see we have a good mix of group. We see parents, I see staff, policymaker, teachers. This is going to be fun. I don't see any student, but we'll make sure to touch every single detail that we want to make sure the students are aware. So this is me, my virtual office with Moji. A little bit about myself. I used to be a school counselor. I work in the high school in 6 years, former chemistry teacher. Now I'm working with the Study Smart Tutors as the director of the education. Our company is dedicated to helping the students, not only getting to college, but going after the college and retaining in the college and graduating from the college. That's our very simple way to talk about our company. Couple housekeeping things that we want to make sure that you know, because this is a different setting. This call is a webinar version of the Zoom. So unfortunately, you don't have the mic to talk or the camera to open, but we really want you to engage through the chat. When you are chatting, we want you to make sure you send to everyone. Or if you have a question specific that needs our attention, either Megan or Adrian, you can only send the panelist. You are muted, the video is not on. And there is the question and answer button on your Zoom. Any question that you may have, you can go ahead and submit it anytime that you like. And we'll answer it either via chat, Megan and Adrian will answer it, or we'll answer it on live. Make sure that we get all the questions that you may have. Our goal is today, again, to learn all the updates about the UC and CSU. As Adrian mentioned, it's around the corner. Application actually start that you can work on it, not submit it yet. So we'll talk about that update. We'll talk about what is the college are looking for, how did COVID impact college application. And we'll talk about the college list, where to start, what is the update on the SAT, ACT testing. So this was my question too, but Adrian Paul kind of covered that one. But what I like to do and try to chat as well, if you can, go ahead and put up on the chat maybe your role or your title, if you are the teacher, if you are the counselor, if you are the parent. Go ahead and say hi on the chat and let us know who you are. Like I'll start, I say, hey, Julia. Well, I'm going to identify myself as a counselor, but I'm also a parent. Awesome. Janine, the parents, beautiful. See Sarah. Hey, Sarah, college professor, beautiful. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Daniel, uncle, what the parent? Love it. Okay, librarian, awesome. That's the Andrew. Hi, Ashley. Beautiful. Thank you for your work. Education and career mentor for youth, foster youth. Beautiful. I'll wait 10 more seconds if anybody wants to respond that. That's my mood meter. Want to check in how you guys feeling. It's always nice to see. Again, I cannot hear your voice or see you, but want to make sure, what color are you feeling today? The yellow is the hyper cheerful, lively. The red, little bit tired, annoyed. And then there's the blue, little sad maybe. And then the green is chill, relax. Let me know what color are you feeling now? Or you can just simply say I'm orange or I am mix. Adrian put green. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Love it. Thank you for your honesty again, being vulnerable to each other. I just want to create a space to say, I know it's been this, we are in this time zone. It's hard. We are just taking one step at a time. And I sincerely appreciate it that you come in today. I know how hard it is to join one Zoom to another, but I will promise it's going to be all worth it. And whichever color that you are in, we want you to welcome it. We want to validate and appreciate it that you join with us once again. So I'm going to start our session with the question that I like you to answer it is what are you considering when it comes thinking about what college you are going to apply? What I am hoping to do is you are going to respond to this question through a platform called Poll Everywhere. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put up on the link on the chat box. So when you click the link, you'll see something like this, and you'll put your response. It's going to be anonymous. I don't see who write what. And then you'll hit submit, and then I'll see all the responses. So let's go to question again. What are you considering when it comes thinking about what college you are going to apply to? And you can think this could be for your students, for your child. Awesome, we have our first response. If you are having a hard time to getting in the link, go ahead and put up on the chat as well. Yeah, application process is the big part of it, 100%. What else? Again, if you are having a hard time with this poll everywhere, feel free to put up on the chat too. That's the only our communication. School location, I love it. Daniel, thank you. Oh, here's the big answer. The cost, distance from home. Maybe want to be close to home, but want to go to prestige school. If they have the major I wanted or feel of the community or town, love it. Love it. Yeah, we want to consider the financial aid. Absolutely. Fantastic. And hopefully we are going to cover today to where to start, how to do it, how to make the decision, how to help our students and our child to make that decision when it comes to that long journey. All righty. I'll start with the basic, simple. I know many of you heard about it. For now, the A through G student has to have a certain class, certain class they need to take it in order to apply the UCs in CSU. They call it A through G. There's a certain number, certain subject, everybody has to take it. Those A through G courses has to be C or better. They can pass at the school with the D, but when it comes to applying to college, if they have a D, it's not be eligible. The one update from the COVID with when it comes to A through G, many of the students in the nation, they did not have a grade from the last semester. That means they either have a pass or fail or credit or no credit. UC acknowledge that they are still going to count this under the A through Gs. Again, I'll already talk about the Ds. Four-year universities has to be C or better. What are the A through G requirements used for? Is again, determine the students if they are prepared enough to taking the rigorous courses. When we check the A through Gs, there are the two-year science, two-year language other than English. So it's not an easy pathway for your students to graduate from the high school, because California high school graduation requirements by the Department of State is different than what UC and Cal State is asking for. And colleges, UCs and CSUs want to see if your students meet with that rigor or not. Again, if they challenge themselves enough, if they're knowledge enough on that subject, and then they want to see their GPA. When it comes to college, again, one big thing, they are looking at the A3G courses. They're also checking the standard exam. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. Right now, it's optional. I'm going to call it optional, and I'll talk about what is that optional looks like now. They are checking the student high school GPA, and they're also looking for students' extracurricular activities, how involved in their school, and what are the things they are patient about it. Okay, another question that I like us to do, as a counselor, I always get the question, what my kids needs to do in order to go to college? What is the most important thing they need to do? Is it the essay? Is it the letter of recommendation? Is it the test? Is it the high school transcript? Get a job? Get a club? What is it? So let's take a guess. I'm going to show you the statistic results, what is important. But I'm curious your thought. So what I want to do, if you can still, I'll put up on the chat again. Go ahead and put the number for those for me. What do you think it's important? You can put up on the chat as well. You can say, well, I think it's the most important is the high school transcript, or the essay, or the reference letter, or the test. What do you think it's the number one, number two, number three? I see Rose question on the chat. They're asking, are you share the information? I'm happy to do that. I'll do it. I'll share with Adrian, and then he'll put up on the follow-up email. Then you'll say essay 1 and all others number 2. Okay. Here is our response. Thank you for responding. It seems like high school transcript take the lead. Then essay. Number 3 is the activities. Test score number 4. I'm going to agree with you, that one for now. Letters of recommendation number 5. Okay, let's see what NACAC test results will tell us. What's important. In this statistic done by 2018, so before COVID, they think the high school transcript is the number 1 reason or impactful when it comes to college admission. And number 2 is the test score. I think it's gonna change now after COVID. We'll see the results. Number 3 is the recommendation, either from the counselor or teacher or both. And then number 4 is the essay, and number 5 is the activities or getting getting a job. So many times I've seen parents and students stuck with not stuck, but maybe focus more to 4 to 5 versus the number 1. With this statistic, I really want to reassure everybody in this space. What matters the most is the student high school transcript in the classes they are choosing. It doesn't mean the others are less important, but we have to explain our students, our child, what they need to give the big focus. Shoot any question when it comes. Well-rounded students is doing everything, not only the schoolwork, they are actively involved in volunteer, and I'm sure Megan will talk about it at the end, how they can be involved doing the online community services, the leadership, extracurricular activities, sports if available, their class rank, it goes with their GPA as well, and again, the internship or the getting a job. Any questions so far? On the chat, you can say good to go, or you say, oh, it doesn't quite good, or I'm just gonna move on. All righty, thank you. Good question, Rose. Well, actually, before the COVID, after the COVID, it's always the school transcript is the most important thing. But I think after the COVID, because number 2 used to be the test score, we don't have the data after COVID because that will be our first year to seeing what is the impact of the test score. But I am thinking it's going to go down from number 2 to number something. But the number 1 didn't change. And I don't think it's ever going to change. It's the high school transcript. What are the classes your students are taking? Are they challenging themselves, or are they going the easy pathway? Okay, I'm going to take biology. Oh, no, I don't want to take chemistry. I definitely don't want to have the physics, 2-year science, earth science, all good to go. Okay. Let's talk about the admission test. We have SAT, ACT, doesn't matter which one the students are taking. Because of the COVID, some students not be able to take the test. Well, actually, many of the students not be able to take the test. They were open again on the late summer. Some students took it, some of them are canceled. But we are still encouraging our students to take the SAT because they are going to get scholarship and the class placement. I'm going to explain specifically for UCs and Cal State. So the question is, if your student's asking, should I bother to take the SAT now? Our answer is yes, please, if you can. If you cannot, because there is no available test center, or you are not able to drive to go that center, that's fine. You can still apply to colleges. But if you have a chance, we still want you to practice and take the test. Usually, if we have the junior, sophomores in the room, we want them to take the test on their 2nd semester of the junior year, the spring semester of the junior year. It's a good time for them to take one, maybe on the summer, do it one more time. And when they come back as a senior, they can take the 3rd time if they like. Can they do earlier? Sure, they can. But this is the recommendation by the College Board. One thing that I want to put up here, if your student is a free reduced lunch at school. They can take the test for free. It's available for them to take 2 tests for free. They just need to get a waiver from their school counselor. You don't have to pay for the $55 either for SAT or ACT. You'll get a waiver and you don't have to pay for it. Just putting out there if you do not know already. Here's the update for UC. What is this test? So you'll hear about lots of test optional, test blind. Test optional means is all the students who take the test, they can submit it. It's optional. They choose not to submit it too. But if they choose to submit, as you can see here, they will be, it's going to take me the original website. They will take me, they will take them. They will make the decision by their admission. So what does that mean? We have Megan, who is a senior, who has a SAT, but Megan not did so well, but did a good job, okay job. Should Megan submit the SAT score or not? We'll say yes, absolutely, because its test is optional. You will get it. It's only going to help you for admission. If not the admission, definitely for scholarship. This is for class of 2020-21. For coming up next 2 years, test going to be blind. That means you can still submit it, but it's not going to be affect admission. You can only use for scholarship purposes. This is the biggest thing I want you to take away from this session. What is test optional means, what is test blind means. Either way, you can submit your test. But test optional will affect the scholarship plus admission. Test blind only will affect the scholarship, not the admission. And I don't know if you are watching, I think 3 weeks ago, you see explain, and each campus has their own decision for the test blind and test optional. For the Berkeley, UC Berkeley, UC Irvine, and UC Santa Cruz will go with the test blind. That means they are not going to be affected their college admission, but only scholarship. UCLA, Riverside, San Diego decided to go with the test optional. That means this test score can affect the admission plus the scholarship. It is important to know this detail. We have a good flyer for this. I'll put up on the folder. Again, Adrian will share it with you after the webinar is over, so you can go back and refer. But this is the biggest update for the UC, and it's important for you to understand what is the test blind means, what is the test optional means. For CSU, all the testing, SAT, ACT, it's blind. That means it's not going to affect their admission. However, again, it's going to affect the scholarship and moreover, their math and English level. Every student, based on their SAT, ACT score, they get a level of English class and math class. So if they have a good score, we definitely encourage them to apply. Well, even the bad score, because it's not, again, it's a test blind. It will only help them. Daniela has a question. What is class of 2021 to 2023? 2021, what does that mean? Or what is its college admission for them? Yeah, meaning, okay, class of 2021 means that the students who are going to graduate at this summer. That means the current senior. If you have a student or current senior, that means they call a class of 2021. Awesome. Again, this is the CSU update. CSU did still accepting the test results, but it's only going to use the placement for math and English. It's not going to affect the student admission. Awesome. Which test should I take it, SAT or ACT? What do you think? Go ahead and put up on the chat. Should I take SAT or ACT? Nice answer, Sarah. Thank you. Yeah, SAT is more popular on the West than the East Coast. But actually, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If they can take the both, they can take the both. If they choose the SAT, they can go with the SAT. If they have a more interest in science and they want to give it a try, the ACT, they can do that too. The answer is really doesn't matter. How many times can I take the test? Again, there's no right answer. I encourage my students to take at least 2 times if they can, because the COVID not allow them to do more than 1, or sometimes it's really hard to register the test now because of the limited testing location. But if they can, we definitely want them to take 2. When should I take it? We covered that. We want them to take on their junior year. If I score low, you can retake it. You don't have to share your result with the college. Let's say, I'm sorry, Megan, I always picking on you, but let's say Megan took the test, didn't do well. We still encourage her to apply, encourage her to do it. But if she can retake it, I'm going to encourage Megan to retake the test. And Megan has the power not to submit the low score, but only the high score. She didn't do on the May, maybe didn't study well, maybe not feeling good at that day. That's fine. She doesn't have to share that result with the colleges. She can only use the August test score. So scoring low, it's not really a big issue. So we have to let the students know that's okay. If you score low, that's fine. You can retake it again. This is the pathway your students can choose. They can start with the community colleges and then move to 4-year, or they can directly go to 4-year colleges. For the CSU, nothing really changed other than the SAT when it comes to COVID. They are still asking the GPA, they are still asking the A through G, they are still asking for the grade C or better. The only thing, again, I mentioned it at the beginning for UCs, if your students last semester did not get a grade C or better, but only pass or credit, that is good. That's fine. They are going to accept it. However, when it comes to GPA calculation, how are they going to calculate the GPA for pass or credit class? The answer is they are not going to. They are just going to accept the class, but not putting in the GPA. This is the question from their CASE website. I think it's really valid. I think it's really important for current senior students. Some school in the district, they allow them, the students, to make a decision. Oh, I want to have a passed or not passed from math class, but I want to have a great letter from biology class. So there's a mix. If there's the mix, is it okay to mix of the letter? I would say if you have a good, great letter, sure, put it in, because it's going to help boost your GPA, right? If I have a really good maths, I got an A, good biology, A. I didn't do so well in Spanish, so I got D or C. I'm going to choose to go with the fail. I mean, the pass. I want them to count my A's because it's going to affect my GPA. Remember, the better GPA, better chance for me to get in the college, because it's the #1 factor. When we talk about the transcript, that means their GPA. What are the class they are taking, and what is their test, the grade from those classes. One thing that I want to mention for the CSU is there's 23 campuses all throughout the California, but there are some campuses, it's called impacted. I think it's good to know them. Impacted means it's hard to get in than the other campuses. They made a category for non-impact, campus impaction, or sometimes it's only some major impacted, not the campus. I put upon the link on this next slide. I made a screenshot. This is for this year. What are the impacted campuses? They made a list. Again, impacted means it's competitive and it's hard to get in than the other campuses. Why we are saying this? Because when we are making a college list, we want our students to pick and choose not only the impacted, but also pick some safe school, some target school, so they have a guarantee to get in. They definitely want them to put up their dream college, but we also want them to put some safe and target school from non-impacted campuses if they want to go that campus, or if they even consider getting that campus. Application deadline is November 30. It started. Your students can work on it. Their deadline is to submit by November 30. I usually ask students, I kind of beg students to do, please do before the Thanksgiving. So we'll have a relaxed holiday time. They never do, but I always ask for it. So help them to get it done as early as they can, because so many cases in my experience, if they wait the last minute, there's always some problem, either on the technology, website crashing, couldn't submit it, something lost. So let's help them not to wait the last minute, which is the November 30. Our goal is to get it done before the Thanksgiving. So have a good holiday time. Transcript deadline. It's actually not students' role, but the schools. They need to send their transcript before the July 1st if they got accepted. Okay, let's do a quick check-in on the chat. Any question, anything, what we covered so far? You can tell me go a little slower. You can say, move it on, we know this. You let me know. Because I cannot see you, your face, your reaction. So help me, guide me through the chat. Okay, I'll take the silent as a, let's move on. Fantastic. Okay, let's talk about the UCs in a general, not only the COVID. Again, UC is four-year institution. It's a public school. That means your students will be in residence. They offer a bachelor degree, master degree, doctoral degree. Their requirements hasn't changed other than the SAT. So many times students think, oh, I think it's easy to get in the UC now because of the COVID. It's not necessarily true. It's still the competitive to get in the UC. They're asking 3-point GPA. They're asking A through G courses that we cover. They're asking grade C or better or pass. Optional SAT, ACT. They're asking any award, any honor that your students received. Extracurricular activities. What is the involvement in the community? And they're going to ask about the write essay, what we call personal insight question. We call it PIQ. All the requirements that I listed, and it's in the PowerPoint, there's a section in the UC application student has to fill in. They usually at time, they will just say, oh, darn, I don't have any extracurricular activities. Or I only have one. Or I don't have any. If you are not a senior, but a sophomore, freshman, junior, this is a good time for start building and involving in the school. But if you're a senior, I'm going to challenge you to think hard. What are the things that you do outside of the school? Yeah, maybe you are not the captain of your soccer team. Maybe you did not play a sport. Maybe you did not attend the Lego club at the school. But what else did you do? Did you help out at home? Did you take care of your younger siblings? Did you take care of your grandma? What does that mean? Extracurricular activity for you that might be different for other students. So I want to make sure, empower our students to say, well, you did not going to go any club, but because you are taking care of your siblings after school. This is the extracurricular activities that you need to put up in your application and talk about it. The question is, Daniel is asking, great question. Do all classes in high school have to be grade C or above? Perfect question. Yes, not all classes, but only the A through G courses. A through G courses is 3 years math, 2 years science, 4 year English, 2 year language, 1 year art, and 2 year history, and 1 year elective. All the courses, A through G, has to be C or above. Otherwise, students not eligible to apply to UCs. From the high school, they can choose to go from community college to UC, that will be okay. But from high school to directly apply 4 year, they will not be eligible to do that. There are some specific case. Daniel, let's say your students had a B on the math 2. I mean the D, did not pass it with the C or better. However, they have a math 3 and student passed with the A. That math 3 can validate that D, your students will be okay. There are some little cases here and there. It's for math and for language. They can accept the D, but general answer to your question, yeah, students have to have a grade C or better in order to apply. Awesome. UC call this as the 14 factors for comprehensive review. Comprehensive review means students are more than their GPA and test score. I always say to students, I think we have to say it so out loud. You are more than the number. You are a whole person, and your definition is not only your GPA or your test score. And so what are the other things that we want to make sure they need to be aware in order to apply the UC? Again, the GPA test score, sure, but the quality of the course. Are you challenging yourself? Are you going the easy path? What about the honor courses? Did you take any AP courses? Is there any AP available for you to take? Do you have any special talent, any achievements? Maybe you attend or take a leadership in your school to implement to first-gen students. I'm just thinking, literally, my school, what do? They have the blood drive. They did have the college fair. What are the special projects that you involve? What are some special circumstances that you overcome? I read many essay students are talking about they are coming the state as an immigrant, and the challenge the living as an immigrant, or learning the language, or growing up in the single motherhood, or living or being homeless for a certain period of time, or being the foster child in that place. What are the special circumstances that you overcome, or you are still overcoming? It's really important for students to craft their story and let the admission officer know where the context that your students are coming from. This is so important, and I cannot tell enough. So many students has a beautiful, wonderful story, but they just lack to share with the admission officer. And we definitely want to make sure that we are giving them a space for and empowering them. Again, I didn't do any special activity, or I didn't do any extracurricular activities. Well, yeah, because you are taking care of your siblings, because your mom and dad has 2 jobs. That still counts. What you did, it's matter, and it's really important. Our job is to make sure, let the admission officer know why you did not have any academic club. This is the deadlines, the filling periods, the FAFSA deadline, when they are going to know if they get accepted or rejected, and what is the time they need to let the college know they are coming or not by May 1st. They will apply November. They have to apply FAFSA for sure. This is another topic, but the financial aid. March 1st to 31st. They usually, maybe a little earlier too, they get to know if they get accepted or rejected. By May 1st, if they accepted from 5 UC, they apply, perfect. They're going to make a decision which UC they are choosing to go. And let's talk about the PIQ, which is called UC Personal Insight Question. We want students to think this PIQ as their interviewing with the college admission officer. They are going to craft their story. They are going to tell about them, who they are, and why the college want them in their campuses. There is already a set of 8 questions. Students gonna pick and choose 4 of them. 8 questions total. They are gonna pick and choose to answer 4. There is no better prompt than the other. We just want the students to pick whichever is good fit for them. Any question with personal insight question? Maybe I'll ask, is it important your students should be a good writer or good writing essay or creative writing? Does it matter? Do they have to be perfect? I'll wait for 5 seconds if anybody wants to answer it. A student has to be a strong writer to get done this personal insight question. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, saying that as an English professor, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect by grammatically, but it matters, like Daniel saying, it matters because their stories matter. So many times students are stepping back or not want to apply to UC just because they are not a good writer, just because English is a second language for them, just because they don't know how to write the essay. We definitely want to make sure, of course, grammar matters, spelling is matter, but what they're really looking for, the hearing your voice, want to learn your story, want to know where are you coming from? What are the content? Students who are in the Silicon Valley might not going to be judged with the students coming from the Bakersfield because they don't have the same high school experience, because they don't have the same resource. And how are you going to help your students craft this in their personal insight question? This is the important one. Okay, one thing I want to make sure that I put it up there. Maybe your students might not know. This is a detail. When it comes to GPA calculation, UC won't count the 9th grade GPA. They only count 10th grade and 11th grade GPA. The reason behind this, because they think 9th grade is a transition time. They might not adapt to high school yet. So they still check the courses if they check the A3G in the transcript, but they do not add it in their GPA. Just something to be aware of. Okay, I think we did talk about this. Pass and fail will be good. It's not going to be on the GPA. And then there's the question about the APs because of the COVID. AP test change, as you all know, last May when the COVID happened, the College Board decided AP test coming from 3-hour test to 30 minutes test, coming from the school testing to home test. So students take the AP test at their home for 30 minutes. UC still honor those AP results, the test. If the students took the test and passed the test, they are still going to give the credit for it. Can you go back to last slide, please? Absolutely, I can. Okay. This one, how will pass and no pass affect? Yeah. Let me know, Rose, if you're taking a screenshot, I'll smile. Yeah. Perfect. I did that. Awesome. And I think we covered that one too. Is it easy to get into UC? No, it's pretty much the same. And we want to make sure we give the message to students. You can ask, okay, we talk about enough for UCs and Cal State. What about the other schools? It's really hard to cover all of them, but I share the Common Application. Common Application is the platform your students can apply. All the private school, it's more than 400 or maybe 600 now, colleges in the Common Application. That means your students do one application through the Common App and they can apply many school as they like. They have to pay for each one of them. But it's the good platform for your students to apply. All the Ivy Leagues in it, all the private school in the Common Application. Common Application had an update with COVID. They have a prompt for students to apply, but there is a specific prompt regards to COVID. They're asking how the COVID impact you. And then they design a specific place for students to talk about how the COVID impact them. I think it is really important, again, to empower the students. I don't know who doesn't get impacted COVID, but to make sure not to say to students, oh, everybody is reading about the COVID, don't put up the COVID impact on you. No, we want them to put it in, and there's a specific place, but only thing that we want to advise our students is let's not share the news with them because they're already reading the news from the CNN, whatever the place they are reading. Let's talk how the COVID impacts you as a person, impact you as a family, impact you as your community, and what did you do about it? Do the reflection, but not talk about the news. If any college is not UC, not Cal State, not in the Common App, there's the website by the NACAC. They made a new platform. You can simply Google search and see all the update by the COVID. Okay, I want to go to school in Washington. Nobody knows. It's not Common App. It's the local school, but I want to go there because I have a relative there. I'm gonna search it up, and they will tell me what's the update in that school. Again, it's on the slides. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yes, there's just a question in the chat. Daniel is wondering if a good grade in Spanish 3 will compensate for a fail in Spanish 2 when the colleges look at your application.
Correct. Yes. Spanish 3, C or better, will validate the failing Spanish 2. Great question. Okay. The question usually comes in, how to begin your college search. I encourage them to getting this website. It's called bigfuturecollegeboard.org. They can filter, they can pick the type of the school, the location, they can pick the major, they can play with the paying. I want to pay that much amount of money. When they pick their filter, they are going to give them a list of school, and that will be their starting point. Because I don't know if you feel it that way too. I, as a counselor, feel this is an overwhelming process. This is too many things to know, and students usually, I don't know where to start. My answer is start with the bigfuturecollegeboard.org. Make your build your list, and there's a PDF step by step, the screenshot how you can build your college list. Adrian will share with you after the webinar is over. Okay. I think I mentioned it. Admission stress, it's not going to go away. We definitely validate our students' feeling. We want to be realistic, open-minded, and make sure they are staying healthy. I think this is very important. We chatted a little bit before we started the session. It's important for them to go to college of their dream, good college or great college, but we want them to stay healthy and and achieve their dream, just staying healthy. Because this process is overwhelming, stressful. We definitely want to validate this and make sure to support them by being open, by being honest, by being realistic and informed. Okay, I am going to stop right here to make sure Megan have time. Again, I'll be sharing this PowerPoint with you. This is a pleasure. I'm going to close this with one. COVID happened, many things changed, but the colleges are looking the same thing. They are looking for the curious students who are working hard. They are trying, maybe not the results happening, which is fine, but they are still keep trying. They are still working towards that goal. That's the matter. And we want to make sure students know that too, so they don't lose their hope. And definitely one thing, we definitely don't want them to feel that way. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Julia. I learned a lot. In the chat, what I've gone ahead and done, I've posted some links that I recommend you guys copy and sort of take down for your students or the students in your lives. And this will help sort of get there for them. We have links to student help at SJPL at sanjosepubliclibrary.org. We have links to other events for teens, things they can participate, extracurriculars that they can do at home safely, social distance, volunteer opportunities if they're still looking for some of those leadership opportunities and volunteer hours. We have, yeah.
Just quickly, did you put it in the panelist only chat or did you put it in panelist and attendees?
Let me put panelists and attendees. Thank you. It's in panelists and attendees. So I put that in the chat. And so you'll see student help, events for teens, volunteer opportunities for teens. They are all virtual volunteer opportunities. So your student can earn volunteer hours, service hours, all virtually. And then I have a link to the student materials that Julia shared. There's some infographics in there, and then she will also share the slide materials. So thank you all so much for attending. We have several other events and opportunities that you can sign up for at San Jose Public Library. And I believe Julia is going to post another link here to a survey that will help her and her team.
Awesome. Yeah, I put the survey link. It's really quick, 4 or 5 questions. If you can respond the survey, I appreciate the feedback. What I'm going to do on the student material, I will go ahead and drop this PowerPoint in that folder. So you are going to have an option to view. Go ahead and make a copy and edit on your own drive. So it's all yours.
And then if you all don't have enough polls and surveys to complete yet, I think there's one more that the Silicon Valley Education Foundation would like us to do. So this one's part of Zoom, so I'm just going to pop it up. And then like you did at the beginning, you can go ahead and answer the questions, and we'll just leave it up there. And I just want to thank Julia from Study Smart Tutors, and then Megan from she's over at the Martin Luther King Jr. branch library, and she's been doing a great job this summer. We've been pushing out hotspots and things like that to a lot of families, and she's been very critical in that work. As I mentioned, I'll follow up with these resources through an email. And then if you have any questions, you are always welcome to contact me as well. And you'll have my email address when I send it out to you, or I can just go ahead and type it in here now as it is. And then again, you'll have that again. So I think that is it. I want to thank you all again for coming. This webinar was recorded, so if you were a parent and your child or wasn't able to attend, you should be able to, we'll put a recording of it on the Silicon Valley Education Foundation's College Week website. You should be able to find it there. And then we'll try to cross-post it onto the San Jose Public Library's website as well. So a couple spots where if your child is looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon, I guess you can plug them in front of it. So thank you again, and y'all have a great afternoon.
Yeah, we have a few minutes. If you have a question, stick around, go ahead and ask the question. I'll be happy to answer that if you have a last minute question. If not, have a wonderful evening. Again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Rose. Appreciate your contribution.
All right. Well, thanks again, Julia. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate your platform and